The Nigerian Railway Corporation has declared a free train ride from Thursday, and that's tomorrow, on all its passenger services. In a statement, the corporation advised passengers to get their free tickets via the online e-ticketing platforms only. Well, tickets will not be issued at any of the corporation's train stations. No commuter will be allowed to board the train without a ticket.
Well, we apologize for our inability to bring that report by this one tomorrow, but joining us now to make sense of the development is Arise analyst Dr. Sam Amadi. Well, as I say, it's the Yuletide. Good to see you, and thanks for your time as always. And, you know, let's start first, you know, from talking about how it used to be, how we thought once upon a time there was a Santa somewhere that could actually bring you the goodies.
Santa is back.
You know, no, there's a difference between Santa Claus and Father Christmas.
Yes. Oh, okay.
So that's another gist. So this is something that coming from Nigerians at a time where things are tough, hard. How does this work in our world, knowing full well that data is still something that we're still trying to work on? How do you see this happening for Nigerians?
Well, I mean, the Christmas, Santa, no Santa, some civilized upbringing. But the key point here is things have changed. You know, they have changed in bad, not mostly in the bad ways, less positive. So today, people are struggling with a lot. Be it rising costs of living, at 28.10% inflation rate and more, especially in January. So you expect that people, there's so much, if you look around, there's so much lack of exuberance, there's lack of gaiety, joy, the things actually with this season. And social media people are welling, you know, reporting maybe buying a bag of rice for 60,000, or depending on what you buy. Some could be 70, depending on the type of rice and things like that. So things have changed significantly, and it tells us many places in the world people experience some momentary increase in cost of living because of economic pressure. But then again, it becomes part of concern of policy makers. So, but here, the citizens are more the ones who are flagging these issues. You don't seem to hear that much in the parliaments, like what we had during COVID. We saw in the UK, the US, everywhere. Public policy will be obsessed with cost of living. But the problem here is that our politics and governance is not responsive to, you know, what the market says, everyday market. So you rarely see a honorable member say, this morning my wife, but we used to buy X for X, and now we're buying X plus 10, X times 10. There's a difference. So this is a bad time for most Nigerians, but we are always a hopeful people, and so we hope that, as part of all this, the Christmas will not be so, so dry and melancholic that somehow the Nigerian spirit will probably show forth in spite of all.
Okay, so there's a 50% reduction in transport fares for the Yuletide. That's why we're having this discussion. And free train rides. Do they say that no free rides, or is it no free lunch?
Well, free for tomorrow. Right.
How much difference really is this going to make to the lives of Nigerians? This seems to be some kind of palliative.
Yeah, it is a palliative.
Can the government afford it to start with? The state of the roads.
They can afford
and
it.
all of that.
They can afford
security situation and what have you.
It's easy to afford because just it's a forbearance of revenue. But the real problem is that how many buses do the federal government own? Right. So you're talking about rebate. Is there a mechanism to identify the transporters, major ones, for example, and then it's no longer kind of a rebate. It's not a subsidy. Say, you know what? If God is good, is charging, for, let's say, from here to the east on regular, it's about 40-something,000. Okay, you move from 20-something to now 40-something, go 20 to 50.
So it should now be 50% of
yeah. So if you now tell them, look, for every ticket you're going to have, instead of 50, you're going to be 25%, for example, 25,000. Then the government will pay you
for the rest,
just like you do health insurance. So that will work. But when government doesn't own much, I mean, the interstate, I don't know of any federal government own.
Well, Alake actually, in announcing this, said government has had discussions with transporters and other stakeholders.
The problem with this kind of policy is that you are focusing more on the optics. You are focusing more on the feel-good factor. If Alake announced it, he will tell you. It's a public document that says government has negotiated with God is good, with maybe GUO, with XYZ, with Musa this, then passengers will know that if you use this at these hours, at these days, you're going to have less. So that's a real workable rebate. For example, the rail system. I mean, where does the rail go in Nigeria? There's a rail from Itakpe to somewhere close to Warri or Agbo. Okay, you leave from Abuja here, get to Lokoja, take a bus to Itakpe. So the point is that when you talk about rail, it says okay, it's free. There's no rail network in this country that takes people from point A, let's say Lagos, to Southeast.
I wish there was one from Abuja to Lagos. I mean, I'll be jumping on the next available train.
So that would be real palliative. So the intention may be nice, but this is not
I quite understand what you're saying there. But again, perhaps let's not go to this one, and we'll come back. Sort of use patient more on what you've just highlighted. This one more on now.
No provision is there for fuel subsidy. The fuel subsidy is gone.
The singular decision by President Bola Tinubu announcing the removal of petrol subsidy in May triggered significant economic repercussions in Nigeria, a nation grappling with multidimensional poverty affecting approximately 133 million people. Despite various interventions, the situation persists, prompting the president to alleviate hardships by granting waivers for land transport, including luxurious buses and trains for interstate travels during the upcoming festive period.
In recognition of the economic situation of the country, which the president is working hard to turn around, President Tinubu wants Nigerians to be able to travel within Nigeria to wherever they want to go to meet their loved ones without the extra burden of paying exorbitantly for interstate public transportation. It is in this wise that the president is announcing through us that beginning from tomorrow, that's the 21st of December, Nigerians willing to travel can board public transport, luxury buses at 50% discount of current cost, and all our train services on the routes the trains currently serve at zero cost to and fro on their travels this holiday season.
Chairman of the Interministerial Committee on Presidential Intervention addresses concerns about potential fare hikes by transport operators, traveler safety, as well as measures ensuring the smooth operation of this initiative.
The President has already directed the police department and the Department of State Services, the military, and all other security agencies to work collaboratively to ensure the holiday period is safe without any security breach in any part of the country. The figure that government will bear has already been determined across board, across all the transport operators and unions. So there is no issue of somebody just immediately increasing the fares because the government is going to bear 50% of it. No, that has been settled. So we had taken care of all the contentious issues before we decided to now come and publicize. So there is going to be a seamless execution, and the Minister of Transport is on top of it as we speak.
The government remains tight-lipped about the project's cost and has not imposed restrictions on the number of travelers benefited from this 2-week-long initiative. While the president initially considered including air travel in the waivers, the committee reveals a change in plans. The Minister of Transport sheds light on the program's details.
At the end of the day, the president's initiative is to give succor to the masses. And if we are to be true to ourselves, the masses don't take air travel. They go by land. Wishing every one of us and all Nigerians compliments of the season. And it's our prayers that we all have joyful and pleasant holiday season. In the spirit of Christmas and the end of year festivities, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, GCFR, in another demonstration of his love for Nigerians, has approved that the federal government should intervene to bring down the cost of public transportation to allow our compatriots who want to travel to visit their loved ones and hometown to do so without stress and the extra burden imposed by the high cost of transport around this period. The President is well aware of the recent increase in cost of interstate transportation and even for air travel. Traditionally, therefore, our people love to travel during Christmas and end of year.
While the focus here is on making travel more affordable for the masses, the committee says government is working on more sustainable transport initiatives. Adesua Omorwan, Arise News.
Well, Dr. Amadi, now we go back to your analysis. I started by asking the data, and listening to Dele Alake, everything also points to data. And the fear here now, because we've had bad, history about palliatives, about so many other things that also can be tied to data. So, for instance, if you say you're subsidizing the fare, transporter ABC, how do you know that XYZ Nigerians have come to that bus service to the extent that whatever you're paying is the actual amount that you're supposed to pay? So there's also an issue here on transparency, which Mr. Alake didn't give in that.
Okay, now, let's be charitable and say maybe there's something here, but it looks to me like this is a joke. If there's something here, then it's prone to corruption. So you negotiate, I don't know who they negotiated with, maybe road transport workers or road transport owners, whatever. So they agree. I said, okay, we're going to discount 50% of fares. You don't know the number of people they're going to use, how many vehicles are dedicated, who is monitoring who gets in there, how many people are used. So at the end of the day, the money will exchange hands, but not based on data, not based on transparent,
but in the name of this project.
And we don't know who actually took it. The other issue here is, if also government meant this and planned it, this is just a help, just happened, spot the moment, somebody felt good, let's do this. They would have, for example, say, government is going to borrow 10 fleet from Mrs. A, Mrs. B, Mrs. C. You have your drivers run the normal, but this is government owned. So passengers, you book, you pay only 50%. So government monitors. It's clear to everybody. You understand? So know that if I'm going to God is Good, for example, or Sheikh Musa Transport, I'm going there knowing that there's 5 buses dedicated by government.
Right.
First come, first serve basis. This is a process to apply, maybe online. People get there, get cleared. When I go there, I have my 25,000. I know that government has taken 25. So government monitors and knows what they're paying. So first, we just woke up this morning. I know that the transport owners are not that organized, and none of them have made an announcement. Now, this happens there this night.
And for a project that's meant to take off tomorrow, it's being announced today.
People have bought tickets. I know my staff, those have bought tickets for tomorrow, 23rd, 25th, and so on. So we announce what's the process for determining this, and are you sure that if you call the operators, that they will tell you, oh, we've got this protocol signed off tomorrow, even though you booked 45,000, we're going to give you 25. Exactly. So either this is a joke, either this never happened, this is just feel good, or somebody really has not planned well.
Well, hopefully.
And
the
they couldn't even disclose what they did.
This.
No, I don't think they have. I mean, it's evident that this is just some,
especially on the issue
publicity stunt, it seemed to me.
The cost of the project, the number of travelers and all of that. We'll have to leave it there. Dr. Sam Amadi, Arise News Analyst, thank you so much for joining us. I hope government will give answers to all of these questions going forward.